Hello, hello, Chalk Chickadees. I'm like Humpty Dumpty right now. I'm falling apart and I gotta put myself back together. I don't know why my cute little apron will not stay in place. I clearly don't know how to do the ties with this thing. But it's all good. I'm still gonna chalk. Apron or no apron, this chalk project is going down. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure that this live feed is working. I'm going to get the prize basket out. We're going to have some fun chalking. So, hello and welcome to Chalk Couture with a Comfy Nest. My name is Grace. So happy to have your company every night, every day. Happy to have your company while I craft and play and be creative. All right, let's see. I'm going to switch around some camera settings here. So, hi Janet, how are you? Thanks for saying hello, I appreciate it. Okay guys, so the prize basket still going on. We're still gonna do the prize basket. I'm working on just kind of getting everybody used to the idea of prize basket. So with every increments of 25 viewers on the live, and that's affected by how often you guys are helping out with that. With every 25 viewers, I'll add a name into the basket. And then once or twice a month, I'll pull names to send someone some happy mail that will include Chalk Couture goodies and fun. Maybe a project that I've completed. We'll just see. We'll just see what's going on at the time. So if you are willing and able, please do that. Please be a love and sprinkle the love out there. I want to work on this little board. It's not a Chalk Couture board. It's a round that has like the palette board like grooves in it. It's not palette wood. It's just a regular wood circle, but it has the palette board grooves. And you guys know I love, love, love working on these palette board looking projects. So I'm going to start painting them right away because I need to get this painted first. Wanted to show you that yes, you can chalk on just about anything. This is going to be a painted project. And I have a couple of transfers pulled out. I said it's all about the birds because at the Comfy Nest, I love the birdies. I love the idea of having a comfy little cozy nest. So I have a couple of different transfers pulled out. The other one that like kind of hit my mind when I was thinking of birds and transfers was this one. This one's called French Country and it has a few birds on it. It has these two folks, these two little birdies. And then it has one up here. I don't know if you've ever looked closely, but you can see that rooster right there. So this is the other one I was thinking we might be able to use on here. So you guys can help me decide. I'm going to start painting first because I need to get the base of this board painted. Let me put aside my basket. Where can I put this? I'll put it down here so I don't have it in my way. I'll put the camera down so you guys can see me painting. I picked very neutral base on this. I've got Waverly Plaster. I've got Mineral. And I have celery, and they're all very, very subtle colors, very soft, because that will allow me to then paste on top of that with some gorgeous paste colors. So that's the plan. I'm gonna make sure that I can get my comments up here on my iPad, and then I'll put this camera down and you guys can start viewing what I've got going on. So I asked my son, I have a laptop that's a few years old, and I swear to you guys, it's dying. Oh, look at my hair. I swear to you, it's dying. It's really giving me trouble lately, my laptop. And I've been thinking I need to get a new computer. Now is not the time. I would normally go to a store like Best Buy and shop what's available. I'm not a computer person, so I would just see what's out there, make a decision and buy one. Well, I'm not going to do that now, obviously, and I don't want to buy one online without having that ability to look at what's there. So I said to my son who got a Surface Go for Christmas, I said, can I use your Surface Go to read my comments? Well, he's like, yeah, sure. But then we didn't have time to get it set up. So I'm still with my little iPad down here trying to make sure I can see everybody's comments. So I hope that works. I hope you guys can hear me and see me. Hi, Tracy. And there's Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl. And who else is here? Denise is here. Oh my gosh, all my chalking friends are here. Hi, Jerry. Welcome. You guys, I'm so happy to have you. Hey, Trish. Trish made it. We're just going to do some painting and some chalking. So you guys do the sharing while I do the painting and the chalking. Let's spread the love of Chalk Couture. So I've got this little board It is from Craft Deals. You know, I have an affiliate with them, so I do have a coupon code if anybody wants to order anything from them ever. I have all kinds of cutouts and tags and all kinds of fun stuff from them. So someone's going to ask me, so I will tell you, I think this is it's a 14-inch board, and it is very thick, so it's hefty. It'll make a nice door hanger because it's so sturdy. Instead of a wreath, you know, a lot of us are using these wood cutouts as door hangers. So I'm going to get painting because I really I'm going to need to paint it before I chalk it. So let me get some paint open here. I think I'm going to use the darker colors on the outside and the lighter colors toward the middle so that I can chalk in the middle and not have too much distraction. Whoa, did you hear that bird? Holy, I opened my window a little bit and I have no screen. So let's hope no birds come in the window while I'm working. Oh, good gravy. It's right on my porch. That would make for a wild live. Holy schmoly. Okay, so I have 3 colors and I have 5 board sections. So let's just get into it and get started. I don't want them to be like in a pattern. I guess I'll go with this gray, this mineral Waverly is extremely subtle and soft. So I'm just going to start painting because if this project isn't going to take 7 hours, I need to just get working. And you guys can chat with me as I paint. I like to just slop the paint on there when you have such a big section to paint. Just get her done, man. Just get the paint on there. The fun part for me, the base coat is nothing, and I almost did it before we went live, and then I decided, no, I better wait because someone's going to ask me about this base coat. So I decided to wait. But sometimes before I go live, I'll get started with the paint job ahead of time because I don't want it to take forever and a day, right? I don't mind it taking forever in a day. Like, this is totally my my chill time. So thank you for joining me for that. You're like my very special girlfriends, guy friends from across the world who get to join me when I want to get all crafty. So I love that. I love that I have company. You know, I live with 3 boys and none of them, I'll tell you what, none of them got the crafty gene. None of them want to craft with me. Imagine that. My 13-year-old, my 14-year-old, and my 40-something-year-old husband, they don't want to craft with me. This isn't their gig. This isn't their jam. All right, I'm just going to, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do, they are all fairly light colors. I'm going to do the green, I think, in the middle and the white on the other 2. So don't do as I do. I'm going to stick this dirty brush right into my green. I know this would freak some people out. My sister would be going wild, but it's all good. There's very little gray on my paintbrush, so it'll be fine. They're very pretty colors, and I wanted them to be pretty neutral, so that when I chalk on top of it, you'll be able to see it real well. That's the goal. If you go with colors that are just too dark, then you'll obscure the design on the top, the chalk design on the top. So you want to have even if it's a designed base, which I'm designing this, I'm going to be putting some various colors. I may be sanding down some, distressing, and so that, it's all good. You can do that on the base, but you want to make sure it's subtle enough that it doesn't take away from the chalk design on the top of it. And I kind of like the idea of using that French one, but then again, everybody's loving this Feathered Friends, this whole Feathered Friends section in the book with, this is the monthly kit. Those who are getting the monthly kit, the Comfy Nest monthly kit, this is the one that they are getting, and then you can add these other ones that have the bird houses with it. But those folks are all getting that Feathered Friends, the birds. And I've had that I've used it a few times. I used it on that banner. I don't know if you guys saw that. I used the birds on the top of my banner that I did, my fabric banner for my mantle. I did that one yesterday. So I started it on this page, and then I mainly finished it in the VIP group. So if you guys aren't in my VIP group and if you're a customer, you're not a Chalk Couture designer yet, you're absolutely welcome to join my VIP group. Love to have you in there. It's a great community of mainly women. I won't say it's all women, but mainly women who love to share project photos and ideas and ask questions, and We just chit chat. We have a good time in there. Okay, got to go in with the white. So now I am going to clean my brush. I've got my base coats going here. They don't have to be perfect because there's going to be layers of paint and chalk on top of it. I'm going to check comments real quick. You guys let me know if we hit 25. I'll add a name to that prize basket. Hey, Debbie Corbett. Hello, hello. There's Colleen. You have trouble finding my lives. Well, you found me tonight, friend. Welcome. I saw you at Mass on Sunday. That was so fun that I was so excited that they streamed Mass on Sunday so that we could participate. Hey, Sherry. And there's Donna Jo. And who else is here? Let's see. I'll say hello to everybody. I try to anyway. Heather's here. Hello, Heather. Donna says, I love the round wood. I do too. And I have a heart too. I have a heart that has this same palette on the top of it. And I really love them. I love working with these palette ones. These colors, I think they're really nice together because they're very subtle. Thanks for saying hello, Heather. You guys, are you guys feeling cooped up? Those of you who are staying home, you know, I know some people need to work and are working. My husband, actually, I can't even believe it. We own a construction company, which is basically, we do residential landscaping locally, but we do erosion control. They're basically DOT jobs, so Department of Transportation state jobs that we are subcontracted on to do erosion control on like highway projects where they're redoing the highways or bridges or things like that. They are considered essential. I said, why is it essential to fix the road? Like, I understand if a road is completely out, but he has a pre-con meeting, which is a pre-construction meeting where all the DOT gets together with the engineers and the contractors. All the contractors are invited, and they have a meeting tomorrow. And I said, well, I'll be so interested. Like, I don't understand how they're considered essential. So my husband's going to work every day. We have a very small crew in the winter, about 4 or 5 people who work with us in the winter. And they all, you know, they all have their own space. So they're definitely keeping the 6-foot distance. We've done the safety meeting and they know what to do. But now if we start getting crews going, you know, we can have 30, 40 people on a job. How are you supposed to keep these people separated on the side of the highway? How do you manage that? I don't know. There's just so many unknowns, really. My husband, anyway, he's going to work. I'm home, but I usually work from home. So this is not very different for me. The difference for me is my children are here. Good gravy. It is, they're eating me out of house and home, my 13 and 14-year-old. They eat a lot when they're home. Good. It's just amazing. I told them, you better just take heed on how many chips you're eating, because when we went out, we're out of chips. I did buy a few bags, but good gravy, kids. Take it easy on the chips. Okay, basic paint job done. I like that it's very subtle. I do need to dry it. I'm going to take the hairdryer to it quick. I know that's a little loud, but while I'm doing that, I'm going to, oh, we just hit 25 viewers. So I'll pull a name from the comments while I'm blow drying, and I will check for comments and questions. If you guys have any questions as we go, just let me know. And if you continue to help out by sprinkling the love, we'll add more names to this basket for every 25 viewers. So I'll go ahead and add a name while I got my hair dryer going. I should position this like, I should have a little hanger for this so that I can keep my hands doing something else while I'm blow drying. All right, I got a little ticket out, got my marker. Let me pull a name. So make sure that you say hello, because that's how I'm going to randomly choose somebody to put in the basket. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the comments. And Sherry Morse, I'm going to put your name in the basket so you have a chance of winning. Happy Mail. Congratulations, Sherry. Sherry Morse, got you down. I like to put the date on here. Can you believe it? It's the end of March already. Whew, it went by fast. January was really slow, but February and March have gone by very fast for me. I don't know about how you guys feel about that. Deb, me too. I hope you're safe and healthy. I hope you're safe and healthy. Cheryl's feeling cooped up because the president closed down the craft stores and I ran out of paint color. Oh no, Cheryl. Oh no, girlfriend. That's a darn shame. Hi, Edna. What color green am I using? It's Waverly, and it's called Celery. Waverly, and it's called Celery. Thank you for sprinkling, Trish. Thank you. Hi, Teresa. How do I get this page added to my groups? I don't know. Colleen, it would depend on what groups you belong to, I guess. You can just use the little share button on your screen. There should be a share button. Next to the place where it says write a comment, you should see a button that says share with an arrow. And then you can share it in a message. You can share it on your own personal page. Hi, Judy. Hello, hello. I love saying hello to all you folks. I do. I really like it. So thanks for joining me. You're welcome, Sherry. She says, thank you. Yep, your name got in. So if we hit 50 viewers, I'll add another name. So make sure you say hello. If you sprinkled, make sure you tell me that you sprinkled. That's one way to comment. The more comments that we have, the more engagement, the more the video will show up in other people's, it'll pop up in their walls, people who like the Comfy Nest, Couture with the Comfy Nest. It's kind of weird how Facebook works all this. So the more you share, the more comments that there are, the more it shows up in other people's feeds, the bigger the viewership gets, and then the more names that go in the basket. So it's kind of fun. All right, I don't like them to be just so plain. I like my things to be a little distressed and mucked up a little bit. So I'm going to take, while I have the white on my brush, I'm going to come in and do like a little dry brushing on some of the other colors. So I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to add a little bit of white just all over the place so that it's not so darn perfect, because I don't like perfect paint finishes. I just don't. I like things to be a little mucked up. So I did not added any more paint, and in that time that I was blow drying, I'm sure the dryer was hitting my paintbrush and drying the paint on my brush. So that's why we call it a dry brush, because there's hardly any paint on there. And what you get are these like dry lines of paint, and it really pulls the texture of your surface out. So I was doing a little bit of this on canvas. Where did that go so I can show it to you? I was doing this on a white canvas with the same color, the same mineral and white. And look, it looks like it's almost like a burlap. The dry brushing makes it look like a burlap. So I love playing with dry brushing on my projects. I love it. I think it's really, really fun. So I want to do this just to muck it all up. So now you see the grays, the gray, the green, the gray all have a little bit of whitewashing on it, and the white looks perfect. That doesn't work for me. So I'm going to go into my gray paint, the lid of my gray paint. Let me grab, here's my tin foil. I'll use that as my offload. So I want a dry brush of gray, and I'm going to put that on the white so that also it's also mucked up a little bit. It wasn't enough paint. I gotta go into my full pot. I'm gonna take my Land of Offload, what I call it, and then I'm gonna come in with this gray, and I'll probably do it on the white because it needs to be mucked up. It can't be perfect in my eyes. That's just the way I roll. I don't like it perfect, so I'm gonna muck this up a little bit, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this color on the other two as well, just so it's really coordinated. This basket is in my way. I will grab the prize basket again if I need to later. Okay, so see what I'm doing? We're just coming in and we're adding a little bit of the gray on top of the white so it's not so perfect. Okay, and I like to do the edges and the middle, and just willy-nilly, if there's no real rhyme or reason, just make sure that you're adding another. I'm using all the same colors. I didn't come in with some other random color. And you could come in with another color completely, but I don't want to do that. I want it to be coordinated. So now I do like to go around the edges and just add a little more paint. It's so subtle, you guys, but all together, it comes together and really coordinates everything. So I'm taking that same round motion and going around the edges, okay? So it's not perfect, right? So to me, that's perfect because it's not perfect. Now, I'm gonna show you something, pull this up, and These pellet boards that have the grooves cut out of them, sometimes you can see inside and you can see that wood. And there's two ways of looking at this. If you feel like that's going to take away from whatever design you're doing, then certainly paint that with whatever color coordinates. So either white or green, green or gray. You know, you want to paint it whatever color. I don't normally paint my edges of my boards because I like them to be raw. I like the more rustic look. So I'm going to leave those the way they are because it coordinates with the edging. And the project is going to be, I want it to be a little rustic, okay? So I have a couple of things picked out here. Now that I have the base done, I am going to take the hairdryer to it quick. I have a couple of different transfers. I was thinking either, and so I would put this would be the top. So I'm viewing it so that you guys can see it with the top here and the bottom there. And I could put the birdhouse in the middle. And I'm really confident. So the birdhouse is layered. So you have the roof and the little holes for the birdies. So you would do those in a different color. So you would do the birdhouse. I would do the birdhouse in like a light color and then do these in a dark color. So that's one option. And then I could add to that the phrase bless our nest. So that's our first option. Birdhouse with nest. Or, and I probably would add a birdie to that one. I love this one too. I showed you this earlier. Like, I think I could put this. I was thinking, would it be pretty to do this in the background? Try to get the birds in there and do it in gold shimmer. And then in black on top somewhere, do bless our nest. So you guys vote. This is, what is this one called? French something or other. French country? Should I go French country or should I do the birdhouse? You vote, please. French country, which is this really busy, beautiful one, or the birdhouse, which is going to be really country charms, like really country charm. And while you guys are voting, I'm going to take the hairdryer to this a quick minute again, just to make sure it's really dry. French country. Sherry already decided. I love it. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer says, love all your ideas. Thank you. I love distress too, Sherry. I think it's pretty good here. Oh, it's wet down here. All right. So much of this background, much of these background colors are going to get covered up. If I do the birdhouse on the top, then we're going to see all of the parts that are white are going to be whatever color the birdhouse is. And I would do it in one of these neutral colors, not quite white, but like one of them is called almond and the other one's iced coffee. So I would do the birdhouse in this color. Coordinated, but much of this section is going to be covered by birdhouse if we go with the birdhouse. If we go with French country, you'll still see most of this, but you'll have this in the front in gold shimmer. And then I'm going to try to work in on either one of them, bless our nest. I can't really decide. I think I would like both of them. That's why I'm asking you to help to vote. Okay, we got to vote for birdhouse. Teresa says birdhouse. Edna says French country. Jerry says French country. Oh my gosh, is it split down the middle? Good gravy, girls. You're going to make it hard on me. Hold on. I got to get a piece of paper. Because you guys are like, seriously, we're like split down the middle. Hold on. I got to find a piece of paper I can write on. I'm going in the garbage, girls. Piece of scrap paper. Okay, let's take a look at this. All right, birdhouse, French country. How many? Okay, Tracy says birdhouse. Hi, Tammy. Welcome. Hey, Vivian. Jennifer says birdhouse. I'm taking a literal vote, you guys. It's democracy here at the Comfy Nest. Teresa says birdhouse. My pencil doesn't work. Edna says French country. Jerry says French country. Debbie says birdhouse. Is that it? Are those all the votes? Let's see. Very choppy tonight, Jennifer says. Sprinkle the love. Thank you, Cheryl. Muck it up. I love to muck things up, Jerry. I love it. I love to muck it up. Denise says, so happy you came live as I'm getting ready to lay down for bed. So I'm watching you because it relaxes me. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome, Denise. It makes my heart swell. It does, because I really do. I find it very relaxing to create and craft. So I'm glad you do too. All right, any other votes? Marilyn says birdhouse. It's like the birdhouse is one, you guys. Tammy said French country. So I had 3 votes for French country and 5 votes for birdhouse. So since they almost doubled our number, we'll go with the birdhouse. I really am torn, so that's why I'm glad to have you guys vote. I would love to see it both ways, actually. And truthfully, you could double side this, I suppose. You could do something on the other side. But tonight, for the sake of time, let's just go ahead and work with it with the birdhouse. So the birdhouse is a layered design. So we have to do 1 layer, dry it, do the other layer, and then we can put more layers on, which will be bless our nest and the birds. So let me put my paint away first. And I think I'm going to give this a quick sanding, a very light and quick sanding, just so that the paint is smooth when I'm chalking on it. So I'm going to take my little this is from the Dollar Tree, one of these Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to give this a quick light sanding. It's going to sound awful, but I already did sand the edges, but I'm going to smooth it out. And when you're chalking, you're using your transfers on things other than chalkboard. It helps to smooth things out. Now, if I had the time, I might even be tempted to put a coat of like Mod Podge or something on here just to protect the paint. Or the other option would be to let your paint sit for 12 hours or 24 hours. I'm just getting the dust off, you guys. For 12 hours or 24 hours, can you see it? All that dust? If you let it sit and cure for a little while, you're less likely to have your paint come up with your transfers. The transfers that I'm using, they're all brand new. No matter what you would have picked, I haven't used them before, so it's going to be really important that I fuzz them really well before I put them on my newly painted project. So a couple of factors when you're chalking on a wood project like this that's painted. If it's brand new, you have a greater chance of pulling up the paint with the adhesive on the back of your transfer. I'm giving it a quick sanding to smooth it out. If in the most ideal conditions to make sure, like for sure, that you're going to have success with it, I might suggest that you either top coat your paint and then chalk on top of it. That would protect your paint. Or let it cure, like I said, for 24 hours or so. I'm a risky crafter. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna go for it. We're gonna see what we get here. Luckily, I like things mucked up. So it actually is very relaxing to chalk and craft, because when you're graced, because it doesn't matter to grace. If a little bit of my paint comes up on the on the adhesive part of my transfer, that wouldn't bother me at all, because I'm going to sand it down and distress it, and I like things a little mucked up. So for me, it's not an issue. If you really like your designs to be perfectly painted and you don't like them mucked up, then you will see every flaw. You'll see every little flaw. But because I don't mind mucked up, the mucked up kind of adds to the character and the charm of it. Okay, if you're new here and you haven't seen Couture before, just comment new. I do see a lot of loyal Couture with Accompanist followers, so thank you guys for being here. But for the benefit of anybody who's brand new, what we mean by silk screen, this is a great transfer to show silk screen, because most of the middle of this is silk screen. A stencil would have a hole in it and you'd be able to point your finger right through it. Silk screen, it's almost like a set of our old-fashioned nylons, you know, that women used to wear. We don't wear them anymore, most women. But it's a silk screen. So it's a very, very fine mesh. I cannot put my finger through it, but what it does is it leaves a really smooth texture to your paste, and it can give us a lot of detail. More detail than what you would get with a regular stencil. This one has a lot of silk screen on it. All of that part that you saw that was white when it was on the backing, that's all gonna be whatever color I choose, which is gonna be one of these. Iced coffee or almond. I'll do one or the other. Let's get the transfer onto the surface and then we'll decide. Well, what I usually do is I get all my colors together and then I'm just going to hold that paste up to this project and see which do I think I would like better. Do I think I would like almond, or do I think I would like, you guys, actually with the birdhouse, I'm going to go with the white on the bottom because I'm going to use one of these two colors for the birdhouse's base. Okay, and I think what I want to do, I have to keep in mind where my lines are. These palette board lines do, I am a risk taker. It does make it more challenging to chalk successfully because the chalk paste has the chance of like settling in those lines really thick. I'm using this bottom line right here on my the palette board line, that little groove, to know where I should put the base of my birdhouse. And then I'm going to just press it all down nicely so it's nice and firm and pressed down. It's really important with one of these transfers that has a lot of silk screen. Now, like I said, the challenge is going to be any place where there's a groove and open silk screen, the paste is likely going to pool up in there. It's going to, when you push it through the mesh silk screen, that paste is just gonna, it's gonna form in there and it's gonna sit in there. It's not really a problem. What you do have to watch is, and I'm gonna use a pointer. I like to use a pointer, you guys. So here's my groove where the paste could sit. It could go into that little groove and sit, as opposed to sitting on the top of the surface here that's immediately underneath this silk screen. The places where the end of the design is and that groove is, the paste could potentially go in the groove and slip underneath your design. So those places where you have these grooves and the end of the design, really make sure you pay attention and you push those in really nicely. Okay, pay attention, push them in nicely. Don't rip your transfer, but I'm using my nail to just make sure those are in nicely. That's your first tip. The second tip is when you're using your squeegee and you are spreading your paste, just take it easy. Don't push really hard in those places that I just pointed out. Because if you have a lot of paste and you push it really hard through there, you have the chance of that paste, like I said, it's like a little tunnel, like it's gonna go in there underneath. It's like a little culvert. It's gonna go underneath there. You don't want that. So when you get to these places, just make sure that you kind of take it easy with the paste, okay? Does that make sense? I like to give you guys tips so that if you decide to try the same exact project, you have those tips. Thanks, Cheryl. She said, I think the birdhouse would look nice with those colors. All right, we're going to try it. So now I have to decide. I think I'm going to go with, the almond is too light. I'm going to go with iced coffee is the name of this one. I have not used this one in a long time, so I hope it looks decent when I open it. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, it just needs a good mix. So I use my multi-tool as or a stirring stick. You can use either one. Here's the stirring stick, or you can use a multi-tool to stir it up. You want to get all those colors back, like incorporated back into the paste. Because if you haven't used it for a while, the colors are going to separate a little bit. And you want a nice smooth paste that has all the colors mixed in there. Okay, now there's a couple of ways you could do this. It's a pretty big spot that we have to chalk right here. You know what I just thought of? hang tight. On the bottom of this birdhouse, I just want to point out to you, I kind of already thought about this before I came online, but I want to point it out to you. It's another like caveat. So here's the roof. Here are the little circles that are the little bird holes where the birds would go in the house. Here's the base of your house. I didn't leave room for the base of my house, so I just want to test something really quick. Because the base of the house is going to sit, I want to see where it's going to end up. I didn't leave room for it because I put this so low. I'm hoping to fit a bird up top. I want to fit a bird up there. So if I end up, I'm just testing this, and I don't want to take it all the way off because I don't need it all the way off. But there are my circles. You know what? I would be able to get most of the base in. I'll miss the two corners, but I'm good with that. I'm going to get most of it in, so I'm happy with that. I really am hoping, I'm really hoping I'm going to be able to fit one of these two birds on the top here. I think that would be really cute. That's how they did it in the catalog. I think it's really cute. So this is really good for you guys to witness, because as you are doing a project that has multi-layers, you really do want to test out and think through the positioning of everything, so you don't put something down and then go, oh man, I didn't leave room for my base, or I didn't leave room for the bird, or whatever it is. The other thing is the words. I did kind of test that too. If we go with bless our nest, my thought was it would fit either all in the middle here, or I could do bless in here and our nest in there. So we'll make that decision at the end. But I've already, in my mind, and before I even got online with you guys, I kind of tested that out if we ended up doing the birdhouse. I tested out the other one too, but just to have an idea that it would all fit. Okay. Oh, I'm a little nervous just because of the grooves. They do make me a little nervous. I'm going to take some paste. I'm going to take a lot because this will require a lot because there's a lot of silk screen. And I'm just going to place a bunch of it on the bottom here because I need to spread it out. And then I'm going to take a bunch now, way too much. I'm going to take a bunch and I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm going to avoid that groove. That will be the paste that I spread toward the top. Let me see if I can get that clump. There we go. All right, so now I can just start spreading. I'm going to stop where this point is, where the groove is, and I'm going to just really be careful, make sure I don't have a ton of paste. I don't want all that paste on my transfer when I approach that groove. I want just a little bit. So I'm getting rid of most of the paste, and I'm just going to come in with a very little bit. Because again, that groove is just going to suck up that paste and take it in. Okay, so just be careful. The grooves can trick you up a little bit. I'm going to go right up to them, but I'm going to try not to like push too much paste in there. Now, if it's going to take you a little time to do this, perfectly acceptable to paste and peel this up so you don't lose any of your paste. Paste and peel it. Let me put this down. And the reason we do that is because you don't want your paste drying into your silk screen. Okay? I did a pretty good job. I don't have a ton of it in there, in that groove. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll go in on the second section. I'm actually going to help it along by grabbing my hairdryer. Hi, Connie. Hello, hello. Hi, Becky. Oh, so glad you VIPs are here. You're welcome, Colleen. That's the whole point of having a designer to help you, right? Because we can help you with these tips that we've learned over the years. So I'm happy to help. So this was successful. I don't have a ton of paste inside my silk screen here. So now I can put this down. I do want to push along where I stopped pasting and make sure that my silk screen is really stuck down. So I'm just going to use the edge of my multi-tool to do that. Now I'm going to finish. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go up the rest of it and try to get this done. I have another groove up here right by this other hole, this other bird hole. Ooh, I got a lot of paste in that groove. More than I wanted, that's for sure. This paste was drying as I was blow drying. It was drying on my transfer, so I hope it all transferred through. it's not stuck in the silk screen. I'm gonna do the peel. I'm gonna peel it up. It's a little scratchy, but it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna peel it, I'm gonna dry it, and then I'm gonna put it back down so that I can do the rest of it, okay? So I'm just gonna hold this up with one hand. I've got paste on my hand, so I take my rag, try to get that off. I'm gonna use my blow dryer to dry my paste. That one, see right here? I'll show you in a minute. Let me just dry it, and then I will show you. Okay, so when I first started this, I put a big bunch of paste here and a big bunch of paste here so that I could spread it. I probably shouldn't have done this second section. I shouldn't have loaded up with paste right away, because what happened was the paste dried in the silk screen. You can see that the silk screen is a little clogged right here. That's where I had all that paste sitting, waiting to be spread. And that's exactly where you can see that my design is very scratchy right there. I'm missing paste. It's missing because where is it? It's in the silk screen. It's up here in the silk screen. Again, because I'm not a perfectionist, because I like things really rustic and scratchy and mucked up, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the top part of this, and then I can take this off completely and give it a good dry so that we can do the second layer of this, okay? I have no more grooves to worry about. Now all I have to do is the top of my project. And then I can peel this off all the way. There we go. Look, the color of it, I'm noticing, we gotta find a place to put this. I hang these up like on the edge of my table until I can go to the laundry room and clean them. That's what I do, so let me stick that on the edge of my table. The color looks different. So it looks darker here because we have the green background. It's all the same color. You just saw me do it. It's all iced coffee, but it does look a little darker here, and that's okay. That's okay. We got all kinds of colors going on here, and it looks really rustic and scratched up, and we're gonna put the top layer on, but before I put the top layer on, which is the roof line, and it accentuates the little bird holes and the base, before I do that, I do wanna take the hairdryer to it and make sure it's nice and dry. I'm gonna put this back in my pot. I'm gonna try to salvage as much of that as possible. I'm gonna stick this in a little bucket of water, and then I take my distilled water, and before I put my paste cap back on, I put a squirt of distilled water in there to keep it nice and wet. That's how I do it. You guys, again, you can do it however you want. I don't use that color that often, so I put a little water in it to keep it nice and wet. Let me check for comments and how are we doing with numbers. Hi, Jamie. Why not do what all at once? Why do you do that, Connie says. I like that you show the peek and dry. I do not do that at first time, and it stuck to my board. Yep. Let me finish drying, and then we'll talk about it. I'm just feeling if it's moist or if it's good. Okay, again, if you want the next layer to be perfect, you want to be absolutely sure that it's perfect, you would be good. It would be smart. You could put a polyacrylic coat on this first, let it dry, and then do the next layer. I don't do that. You can do it if you'd like to, if you want it to be really, really as perfect as possible. Connie's asking, why do I do that? And I think what you're asking is about the paste and peel. Because if we don't, if you try to put the paste in the whole thing and you don't take a break in between sections, this is what can happen is your paste dries into the silk screen and then it doesn't transfer onto your board and you have an imperfect image. Your design is imperfect. You can see in that middle section, that whole scratchy section, it's all scratchy right here because the paste that sat there that whole time while I was blow drying the first section, I put all that paste down ready to spread it. And then what happened was it got clogged into the silk screen and it stayed in the silk screen. Did not transfer on to my board. So that's the reason why I paste and peel. It's really helpful if you're using very big transfers. So if you're doing a transfer that's a size D or E, the really big ones, that is a very helpful technique to know, because if you try to do the whole thing and you're not picking it up as you go, you are going to lose big chunks of your project. I got a little paste right there, so I'm just going to wipe it off. All right, we need to go in with the second coat. Now, there is very, very little silk screen here and lots of adhesive. So all this teal part has a very strong adhesive on it. I'm going to be placing that adhesive on all of my fresh paste that I just put down. So there's a chance that your paste could come up with the adhesive. One, because it's fresh and new. That's what I'm trying to dry it as much as possible to avoid that. Two, I'm not putting a polyacrylic top coat on it before I go on to the next layer. If you wanted to be absolutely safe and sure that it's going to stay in place, then top coat it before you do the next layer. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go in with my next layer. But before I use my brand new, very sticky adhesive transfer on that first layer, I am going to fuzz the heck out of it, because I don't want it to pull up my paint and I don't want it to pull up my paste. Okay. So we're just going to keep fuzzing it. Keep on fuzzing. I'm going to probably do this 4 or 5 times. There is so much adhesive on this transfer. And when I place it down, I am not going to push strongly on the transfer all over the place. I'm not going to push strongly on everything. I'm just going to push strongly around the parts that I'm going to chalk, the silkscreen parts, because I do not want the paste underneath this adhesive to come up. So I'm not going to really push it down hard when I get it on my board. I'm going to only focus on the parts that I'm going to be chalking. So this next part, I pulled out brown, dark brown, and I pulled out black. I think, did I pull out brown and black? No, I just have black. Maybe I decided I was just going to use black. I could go get the brown. Hold on. So I float it over until I feel like I got the right place. Luckily, all these holes should line up with the holes on your transfer. So if you can just, and I'm just about in the right place. Now I'm going to drag it over until I hit those holes. And I'm just going to, I can still move it. You see how it can still move? So you're just going to wiggle it around until you get it right where you want it. And then what I do is my 2 thumbs are the 2 closest parts. So I push those down so it positions it where you want it. Now, here is where is all that fresh paste, and I don't want it to come up with the adhesive. So all I'm going to press on are the parts that are silkscreen. I am not going to go pressing on the whole thing and having that adhere to my my freshly pasted birdhouse. I'm just going to press on the parts that are silkscreen. Oh my gosh, the whole base of it is basically a groove. There's like a groove underneath the whole base. Lovely. All right, don't push on the green parts, just push on the white parts. Okay, so now brown or black. I think I want to do the words in black so that they really stand out. So I'm thinking I should use brown. Let me see if I even have enough brown. Let me see, I think I have enough. So for this, I could just use a mini squeegee because they're all very tiny little parts. They're not very big. So I can come in with a little mini squeegee. Here's my brown paste. Oh, Timmy says use black. I'm going to use black. Maybe it would coordinate better. I'm going to use black for the words. And if the words end up overlapping on these parts, I kind of was thinking maybe it would be better to have it be a different color so that it doesn't just obscure it, right? So if I'm going to put bless our nest, if it goes over, I guess the other option is I could do it in bright white. Bright white. Tammy's saying black. Becky says brown. It's a tie. I'm going to go brown. All right, let's just do it. Like, right? It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Again, paste and peel. I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 design elements. That's not even counting the tiny little holes. I'm not going to count those. Those are where the little sticks would be that the bird would sit on. So because I have all of those sections, I am going to paste, peel, and then go back and paste the rest of it, okay? So I'm just going to paste the top part, and this is called bark. I think there were like 6 or 8 of you that chose this color from the monthly kit club because you guys are getting that gather with the twigs. They're getting this one this month, so they picked bark, which makes perfect sense. All right, I just want to fill the silk screen. I don't have to worry about anything else getting paste on it, but I do want to now peel this up. Ooh, it's really stuck on there good too. And you saw how much I fuzzed it. I'm gonna peel it up and I'm gonna let it dry. Ooh, I like it, you guys. Peel it up, I'm gonna let it dry. Use my blow dryer, and then I can go and do the rest of it. What do you think? Show me some hearts if you like it so far. I love this part so far. This is when it really comes to life. Okay, I'm gonna place it back down. I'm not going to push down this. I'm just gonna lay it down gently. I'm not gonna push anything down. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is, lay it down gently so I can get the rest of it done. Okay, and we need the little hole to be done. There are lots of grooves, like they're like little traps along the way. Again, I think what I'll do is I'll just get these done, and so I don't scratch up these details, I'm gonna peel it up and then I'll do the base. So I'm gonna peel it up. It's called paste and peel. So I'll peel it up, I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'll put it back down. It looks like a smiley face. That's funny when it's upside down. Colleen, that's funny and clever. I'm liking it, even though it has like different colors. Like this has 2 different colors in the window. These all have the white in the window. I like it. I think it's very, it's interesting. It's visually interesting to look at. Oh, this is going to be tricky because I got that big groove the whole way. As long as I mostly pay attention to the edges, I suppose the edges, it's going to go right off the edge. If I have excess paste. Oh boy. We're gonna see how this turns out. All right, I'm done. I'm gonna stick that and put that away. I'm gonna peel this whole thing up. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is super cute. I actually was not sure I would like this as much as I do. I shouldn't say I wasn't sure. I like it more than I thought I would. That is really, really cute. So I used iced coffee for the base of the house, and then I used the bark brown for the trim. So we need to let that dry, and then I can add my bird here. And I actually wanted to do the bird in Ocean Mist, a very light blue. So it'd add a little bit of color, but it's still gonna be subtle, like the celery green, a very subtle blue. And then I wanna find a place for Bless Our Nest on there. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. Let's get it dry and then we'll figure that part out. Thanks, Connie. Thanks, Tracy. Right? Trish says, I love how it just came alive, right? Just that little bit of brown on the top. Look at the detail on the roof line. It has like all the scratches in it. Like, so it looks like planks. It looks like little roof planks. Or shingles, I guess is the right word. So cute. So I'm using using, just to point out, I'm using erasable paste. The paste is a formula that can be erased, but because I'm pasting on a wood that is porous, it won't erase off of here. So we can turn this erasable paste that we're gonna apply to this, we're gonna top coat the whole thing with a polyacrylic spray, and then it'll all stay put, it'll all stay in place. So that's the nice versatility of this product. Let's see, I see more comments. Connie says, bless on the top, our nest in the middle. All right, we'll see how we think it fits. I guess I just realized the other option, because I want to use this little bird. The other option is to use the word gather, but I think I like bless our nest. It's got two different fonts. I was thinking bless here, and I'm thinking our nest just toward the bottom. That's kind of what I was thinking. And actually, now that I have it all in brown, I think I'm just going to use brown. It shows up very well. The brown shows up very well, and it's not introducing a new color, so it would really leave it very simple. I do need to make sure this is very dry before, again, I introduce another adhesive onto my paste. Now I have 2 layers of paste and paint, and I don't want any of it to come up. So even though I've used this transfer before, it's still pretty sticky, so I'm going to fuzz it a couple of times. I actually like fuzzing on this side better. There are 2 different, this side is more gnarly. It has more nap to it, and this one's like a microfiber, and I like doing it on the microfiber side. Okay, I think I'm gonna do it, my original plan, bless our nest, because then I'm gonna put the bird. I want the bird on the top. So, now it's just like, oh, how do I make sure it's straight? And I'm doing it upside down. I'm gonna turn this around, you guys, because it's upside down for me, and so that I can just get the placement right. Okay, so here's what I do. Here's the groove that's a perfectly straight line, okay? If I position bless directly on that groove, and then I pull it up another couple of inches evenly, and I just leave it really centered. Now, I'm not going to push on any of this. The only part I'm going to press on is the word bless, because I want to keep the risk to a minimum of any of my paste or paint coming up on the adhesive. So let me get the word bless done. I'm going to pull it up, and then we'll do the rest of it. And I am going to do the brown. It shows up really well. My plan was to do black, but the brown shows up really well. And I like the idea of not introducing a whole nother color if I don't have to. So I'm going to pull that up. Oh my gosh, it fits perfectly. I got to dry it. I have to dry this. I can still use this transfer even though it's a little dirty. Just need to make sure the whole thing is dry so I don't get any paste where I don't want it on my project. So I want to dry both of these. Oh my word. I love how it's all scratchy and distressed. Wait till you see it. And the words they are by design scratchy and distressed. They are by design that way. That wasn't Grace's mistake. That was exactly how it's designed. So it really fits in with the very rustic look. It's really important that I dry. If I'm not going to clean this in between, if I'm not going to run and clean this right now, I really need to make sure it's dry. It actually has a big, like, paste booger right there, like a big clump. And so I'm going to get that off there before it falls off and it gets somewhere where I don't want it. It's just like a glump. I don't know what else to call it, a glump. Okay, now I'm just going to finish drying this. No, Couture, you can make really gorgeous home decor gifts really fast. If you're just going to use one color and one design and it's very one-dimensional, you can do a real quick project, a really quick like gift bag or, sign for somebody. You can do it really fast and really quick, one and done, one color and done. But it's also really fun to do all this layering and playing with colors and mixing and matching your different designs together. I think it's incredibly fun. I'm going to do two things to try to center this. I have this groove here, which is a straight line. I have this groove here, straight line. I'm going to line up the top of the word bless with this straight line and drag it down to see. It's gonna allow me to make sure that my words are straight in a horizontal position. And then if I line this E up with the E in the word I just did, I'll make sure that the words are all like in a centered in a coordinated way, if that makes sense. It's just the way my mind works. Okay, I'm hitting the bottom groove, I can see it. And now I'm hitting the top groove, I can see it. So if I'm just gonna press this part right here. I'm just gonna put my finger right there to anchor that and pull it up because I wanna see where those little holes are. I don't wanna hit them a whole lot. I don't wanna be hitting them a whole lot. I wanna keep them so that you can see them. I don't want the words our nest going over those holes. Okay, so we got that down in position. We're gonna chalk this, then I'm gonna add a bird, and then we could even add, if you wanted to add a ribbon or some raffia or something to it. After it's all chalked and done, you can have some fun with embellishing it any way that you want. All right, done. Oh, you guys, I think I'm in love. I think I'm in love. Oh my gosh, you know, because I've got the comfy nest. This is really special to me. How fun and pretty is that? So you can still see the little holes, like the little sticks where the birds should sit, right? Like this one. I was afraid those were gonna get lost, and they don't really get lost. What do you guys think of that so far? I think this is dry enough that I can put my little bluebird on top. So let me grab this transfer. This is the one that the monthly kit subscribers are getting. It's called Feathered Friends Collection, Birds and Branch. That's what it's called. I particularly like this bird because he's a little short and stubby. I'm a short girl. I'm only 5'4". I like the little short stubby birds. So I'm going to use the little short and stubby one. The other one's more elongated and it has a longer tail. I know they look very similar, but I like that one. And I don't know, I could make him brown, but I kind of want this to, I think I want it to be a little bluebird. And you could do yellow, you could do whatever color you want. But do I want him sitting wonky? Because you know I like wonky things, you guys. Don't want it to sit wonky. I just have to turn it so that I can see it a little bit better. So I can see how I want to position my little bird. Do I want it straight? So I love, you guys, just as a point of reference, I do love to go back to the book and go, okay, they did a little birdie. They did the elongated one. They did the longer one. And they had it sitting perfectly straight on there, is how they had it. I don't mind looking at I'm going to have mine looking up, just positioned up a little bit. Not so perfectly straight, because I do like things a little bit wonky. So I'm going to have it like he's going to be, it's almost like he's ready to jump. Like he's ready to jump into flight. Or she. She can be whatever you want. All right, so I am going to do this, and it's called Ocean Mist. So it's a very soft blue. The colors need to be mixed in. You can see that they've separated a little bit. That's all that is when you can see that darker blue pigmentation. So just go in with a stir stick or your multi-tool. I don't need a ton of paste to do this little bluebird here, but I do want to give it a good mix so that the colors are all where they should be. You could actually use your stir stick to spread the paste onto your bird to just get it down on there, but I'm going to throw that in the water, and then I'm going to grab, it's going to be really subtle. In fact, I may go in with a darker color even to add some detail, but his head is basically sitting on a groove. So I'm going to put the bulk of the paste down on the bird body, and then I'm going to do the head last so I don't have a ton of paste on my squeegee when I go up to that groove, because I don't want to have a groove full of paste that like bleeds over to the rest of the area. I don't want paste, I just want to smooth that out a little bit. And I want to pick up the extra and put it back in my pot. I can put that away. Oh, it's wicked subtle and I like it. What do you guys think? thoughts, reactions, comments? What do you got for me? So he's very subtle, and I think what would be really cool, hold on, I'm not done yet, people, because I think because he's so subtle, I want to give him a little more boldness, that little bluebird. Let me dry him, and then I'm going to do one more thing to him. Tracy says, I love it. Becky says, wonky. I love everything wonky, Becky, I do. I like wonky things. I'm going to come in with a dark blue here, and I'm going to do some highlighting on this bird to make it stand out. I'm going to do some detail. Did anybody catch my 11 a.m. crafts for kids today? Did you catch the ice cream cone? Type in ice cream cone if you saw that. Oh, good idea, Marilyn. A little black dot for the eye. Yes, I like it. I like it, I like it. That's a good idea. I'm asking if you saw my crafts for kids today, because I'm gonna bring that ice cream cone over here to show you something. All right, let me grab my ice cream cone. I don't see any comments about if anybody saw it. So with the ice cream cone, all of these like lines that we do when we're doing a painting that add all this detail, like the white and black lines on the inside of the cone and all the black lines between the yellow and white paint, all that detail work that really makes something pop. I'm wondering if that would help with this bird, if I did a little bit of that. And I probably would do it with, I mean, I could use paste, but I could also use paint, right? I don't have to use paste. The only other blue paste that I have, I didn't realize I don't have Cadet. I only have Blue Jay. That's the name of it. But I could highlight the outside of him, and I could do the eye. Let's do the eye. I'm going to go with brown. Marilyn suggested black. I'm going to go with brown because I already have brown on my project. And actually, I'm going to use the, instead of using the bristles of my brush, I'm going to use the end, the end of my brush, the hard handle, to just put a little dot of paste. I have too much on there. I want to take some of that off. And I'm just going to put a little dot of paste to make the eye stick out a little more. Now I'm going to stick that, something fell over there. my transfer fell off the chair. I don't know why. I do have the window open, maybe it blew off. Okay, so I'm cleaning the paste off the end of my brush, that brown paste. But now, what do you think? What's your vote? Should I put some detail highlights on that bird to make him stick out more, or would you just leave it the way it is? I like it really subtle, but if I went in with my paintbrush and did some outside detail lines, you would see him a lot more. Vivian saw the ice cream cone. Yeah, so all those lines, Vivian, what do you think? Should I add some detail lines to this bird, or do I leave him the way he is? The only blue color that I have in paste is Blue Jay, which is very bright. I think it's just too much for this whole thing. It would overpower everything, and you would lose how beautiful it is. Connie's asking how many degrees it is. I don't know. It's probably in the 40s or 50s, I'm thinking. We're supposed to get snow, like, I don't know, inches of snow on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm not happy about it. Detail with white. I think it needs detail. It's very light. I feel like it too. Here are the blue paints that I have. This is too bright too. This one's called Blue Kazoo. This one's called Admiral Blue. So it's more like a black detail, right? I like the idea of using white. Who said that? Who said white? Touch the feathers with a little color, Marilyn says. I think the bird needs something else. See, Teresa, we all agree. Debbie says do the detail. I could use just the same color paint, the plaster white paint, and add some detail. Let's try it. I'm a little nervous because I really, really love it. And I'm just torn about whether or not I should be using a light color or a dark color on this little birdie. Let me get a detail brush. So, oh my gosh, I think I need new detail brushes. They're all like, okay, so here's a detail brush. It has very tiny, tiny little bristles, kind of like a pen. So I could come in here with some white, and this is paint. This is my paint. It's really thick. It's really thick in the cap. So I'm actually gonna grab my tinfoil, and I'm going to offload a little bit of that just so I have more control over how much I'm using. Okay, I'm going to do the outline in white. It's the same white that's on the bottom of this project. So I'm going to come in, and I'm not going to make a perfectly, I'm not going to make it perfect. I'm going to make it a scratchy detail. I hope this is a good decision. Oh, I think it is already. I like it. I'm not making them perfect. I'm going to go really whimsical, like really, kind of messy so that it looks natural, so it doesn't look so manufactured, if that makes sense. I don't like things that look like they came off of an assembly line. I like things that are hand painted or hand sewn or hand drawn or whatever the word is. This groove that I have on the top isn't helping at all. That little bird, half of his head is lost in the groove. Actually, what I could do to combat that, I'm making these lines a little thicker because it really is helping to make this stand out a little more. I'll pick it up and show it to you here in a second. And I'm going to go in these little feathers, this little section with feathers, I'm going to go in and add a little bit of white to that too. I'm just going to follow the direction of these feathers with a little bit of white. And then I think the tail doesn't have any detail on it, but I'm going to add a few little details of feather on the tail. I'm going to make it so that you can see, like, I put 3 little lines on the top. That definitely makes it come out a little more. Definitely. But do you see in his head right under, his eye is right underneath this groove? So maybe what I could do, let me clean my brush. Maybe I could come in, because we're losing a bit of his head. He had like a little bird lobotomy there because of the groove, right? So you see the groove is full of white paint. But what if I went in with my little detail brush and my ocean mist paste and I fixed the lobotomy? I'm gonna go in with this tiny little bit of blue and I'm gonna fill in the groove with blue so that the bird, it's gonna stand out even more. And I think it's gonna make a big difference because the bird is so little and the blue is so light that it's gonna really help it to stand out a little more. But you can tell me if it made any difference at all. All I'm doing is dabbing a little bit of this ocean mist blue that I used to make the bird to fill in the white paint that's inside that groove. I'm gonna hold it up. These are tiny little details, you guys. They're tiny little details, but all together, I think they really matter to make it stand out more. So take a look now. Now, can you see? I filled in, this is where the groove is, and it was all white. So right there with the tiny, tiny little paintbrush, oh, this isn't the one, I used a even smaller one than that. I just put some blue paste in that groove to fill it in. The white really helped. I love it. I love the white because it's not too bold and it still lets the bird just have more of a presence on this project. You guys, I wasn't even sure. Like I said to my team today, sometimes when I go online, I kind of know what I want to do, but I don't have a full plan in my head what I'm going to do. I kind of decide as I go. That to me is the joyful and the fun part about creating. That's the really relaxing part. And I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. And I hope that when I do these projects, it just inspires you to try to just play with your stuff. Play with it and make art with it. So there's my finished piece. I'm really excited about it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of the jute rope hangers with all the beads on it. You know, those little wooden beads. I'm gonna do that with this piece, and then I'll hang it probably right on my front door. I'm trying to like take down all the winter stuff and get ready for spring stuff. Or the other, I'm definitely a person who likes to prop things like this. So I may even prop this on my mantle somewhere. I really love it. I may not want this outside. Bless our nest. So what I used a couple of different transfers. I used this one, Bless Our Nest, from the Feathered Friends collection. I used the bird from this one, which is Birds and Branches, and that's the one that the Comfy Nest monthly kit members are getting. I ordered 30 of them tonight. So you folks are getting that one. And then I also used, they're both dirty, so I can't show you the actual transfers, but this one is called Rustic Birdhouse. And it's all a collection. These are Chalk Stories Feathered Friends collection. In the catalog, it's on pages 10 and 11. And they give us lots of different projects that you can do with these, oh, look what they did with that, the birdhouse, right? So cute. All right, I hope you guys liked it. I hope if you got any value from this that you'll share it with some friends or family. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate having your company while I craft. Please feel free to invite your friends and family into the VIP customer lounge as well. As long as they're not a designer, they can be in that group. And even if they're following another designer, they can be in that group. Because there's nothing that says that one person. I follow lots of creative people. And I'm in a lot of different creative groups. I'm not just in one, so people can feel free to be in there. And then if it's not for them, they can always opt out. So feel free to invite them. I see the word moss, and I am a huge fan of moss. Did you guys know that? I love moss. I have a whole Pinterest board, and it's called I Love Moss. I don't know why, but I do. I love moss, just like I love big, huge, round hay bales. I don't know why, but they make me happy. When I see a field full of big round hay bales, I'm a city girl. And my husband's always like, what makes you so happy about them? I don't know, but I love them. But what are you saying about moss, Miss Tammy? Connie, the board is it's a 14-inch board. It's from Craft Deals. And if you use my coupon code or my link, you can get 10% off your order. But it is a Craft Deals palette board that I got. Cheryl says, don't put that on your door, put it on mine. Thanks, Sherry. She says it looks beautiful. Yes, Marilyn says it looks good filled in. I'm so glad you think so. All right, Tammy says, I know this sounds crazy, but it would even look cute with a little straw glued under the top of the circle. So it looks like there's a bird's nest in it. Under the top circle, like right here. No, I don't think that's kooky at all. I think that would be really cute. Like, I think raffia would really add a lot to this. Okay, that's something to think about. Or moss. That's where the moss came in. I love me some moss, girlfriend. Yes, Vivian said it'll go with your banner. I think this is going to go on my mantle somewhere. I think the Let's Get Cozy sign, that big board that I have, that's a Chalk Couture board and a Chalk Couture design. I love it, but I think the red needs to go. That's been up for several months. So the red color, I think I want to take that down, and maybe I'll, I don't know what I'll do there. I don't know, but I would love to find a place for this on my hearth or somewhere on that mantle. Oh, Janet, I'm so glad to hear you say that. She says, you always give such wonderful tips. That makes my heart swell because I love to teach and I love to like inspire you guys and give you the confidence to just go and have fun. Just go have fun with your stuff. And Tracy says, I love hay bales too. What is it with the hay bales? I love them. They look like big marshmallows, Teresa. That word just came across my head too. That's so funny that you say that. So funny that you say that. I don't know what it is. And because we live like outside of the city, just outside of the city that we live in. And we live in a small city. There's like 9,000 people. I grew up in Boston. I literally took the subway to school. Like my sophomore, junior, senior year of high school. I took like the regular MBTA, the T, to school. I didn't even take a school bus because my school was too small to even have a school bus. I'm a city girl. I love being in the city. But being here in a more rural state, living in North Dakota, good gravy. When I saw those hay bales, I'm like, shoot, they are really big. You see them on TV, but you don't realize how unbelievably big they are until you're like in a field next to them. I don't know what it is. I am really mesmerized by them. It's so funny. Gotta go. Bye, Trish. Have a good night. All right, you guys, have a beautiful, blessed night. Tomorrow I'll be on at 11 a.m. again for Crafts for Kids on the Comfy Nest page. And tomorrow is Watts of Love Wednesday. So I'll be on this page, Talk Couture with the Comfy Nest, with the Watts of Love projects that will be ready for someone to claim to make a donation to Watts of Love. So I would really appreciate your support. Take care. Have a good night.